Each morning is a quiet promise, a blank canvas on which we are given the chance to paint the life we imagine, one deliberate brush stroke at a time. And yet, how often do we race through the early hours without acknowledging the extraordinary power that lies within them? I have come to believe, not only through my personal experience but through the wisdom shared with me by many before me, that the moments just after we rise can shape everything: our mood, our intentions, our courage, and our impact on the world. There is great magic in morning routines, and today I want to speak to you from my heart about why embracing the morning is not just a habit, it is a revolution of the self. I have been raised with the awareness that discipline is not a limitation but a gateway to freedom. As a young woman preparing to serve my country, I understand more than ever the weight and privilege of responsibility. Yet before the meetings, before the ceremonies, before the decisions and the eyes of the world, there is always a quiet moment alone when the day begins. That moment is mine. That moment belongs to me. And in that silence, in those first rituals of waking, I find strength not just to lead but to listen, to learn, and to live with integrity. Morning routines are not about perfection. They are not about checking boxes or meeting someone else's definition of success. They are a declaration, a bold, unwavering message to the world that we are the authors of our own story, that we do not wait to be shaped by the events of the day but instead we rise to shape them. The morning is not a passive experience, it is the battle before the battle. It is where we decide whether we will move with purpose or be pulled by chaos. I understand that not every morning feels magical. There are days when we are tired, when our dreams feel far, when the weight of the world sits heavy on our shoulders. But it is precisely on those days that our routines matter the most. Because our routines are a sanctuary, they are where we return to our center, where we affirm that even when life is uncertain, we have something solid to stand on: our habits, our rituals, our commitments. When I wake, I do so with intention. I begin not with noise but with stillness, a breath, a moment of gratitude. I ask myself, what kind of leader do I want to be today? What kind of daughter, friend, citizen? This reflection is not grand or ceremonial. It is simple, yet it is powerful. Because through it I remind myself that I am not reacting to life, I am actively creating it. Some mornings I read something that lifts my thoughts beyond the surface. Other mornings I write to clear the clutter from my mind and reconnect with what matters. I move my body, not for appearance but to honor its strength, and prepare it for the challenges ahead. These practices are not luxuries, they are necessities, they are acts of preparation for the unknown. They are how I align my heart with my mission. We live in a world that moves quickly, a world that demands our attention constantly. But morning routines are a form of rebellion. A beautiful rebellion against distraction, against comparison, against passivity. When we choose to begin our days with focus and care, we are declaring that we belong fully to ourselves before we belong to the world. We are saying, I know who I am, I know what I stand for, and I will walk through this day with clarity, not confusion. There is something sacred about being awake when the world is still quiet. It feels like a secret space, a hidden door to ourselves. In that space we hear the voice within us more clearly, the voice that is not concerned with perfection but with progress, not with popularity, but with purpose. And that voice, once awakened, can guide us not just through a single day but through an entire life. You do not have to be royalty to live with intention. You do not need a title to lead yourself with courage. All you need is the decision to begin each day as if it matters, because it does. Your presence matters. Your energy matters. Your life, however ordinary it may seem in moments, holds extraordinary potential, and that potential is activated not by accident but by awareness, by choosing to rise each morning not just to exist but to expand. There is no single formula for the perfect routine. It is not about copying someone else. It is about creating what works for you, something that makes you feel alive, connected, grounded. For some it may be movement, for others silence, for others still prayer, or journaling, or simply stepping outside to feel the morning air. What matters is not the content of the routine but the commitment behind it, the decision to show up for yourself again and again. And let me be clear, this is not about being constantly productive. It is not about measuring your worth by your output. It is about honoring the quiet rituals that make you strong on the inside, because inner strength is what carries you when life gets hard. It is what allows you to keep going when no one is watching. It is what allows you to be kind when the world is harsh, to be firm when you are tested, and to stay true to yourself when everything around you is trying to pull you off course. As young people, we are often told to wait until we are older, more experienced, more certain. But I say to you, do not wait. You are already powerful. You are already capable of greatness. And the habits you build today will become the foundation of your future. The morning is your training ground. It is where you develop the discipline to follow through, the clarity to know your path, and the courage to walk it, even when it's difficult. Every leader I admire, whether from history, from science, from the arts, from service, has had one thing in common: the ability to command themselves before they command the world. That begins in the morning. It begins in how they rise, how they prepare, how they care for their inner world before engaging with the outer one. That discipline, that self-respect is not just admirable, it is essential. I believe deeply in the potential of this generation. I believe in your minds, your hearts, your capacity to change this world for the better. But change does not begin in the crowds or on the stages. It begins in the quiet. It begins at dawn. It begins when you make the decision to align your actions with your values, consistently, relentlessly, quietly. That is where greatness begins, not in applause but in habits. And let me also say this: you will fall off track, you will forget, you will sleep in. You will have days when your routine falls apart. Do not let those moments make you question your strength. Instead, let them remind you that success is not about never falling, it is about always returning. Returning to yourself, returning to your vision, returning to your practice. That, more than anything, is what will build your resilience. The magic of morning routines is not in what they look like to others, it is in how they feel to you. They are your sanctuary, your training ground, your sacred space to remember who you are. They are where you prepare to love, to lead, to learn, and to live fully. And that preparation is not small, it is the foundation of everything. To those of you listening who feel lost, overwhelmed, unsure of where to start, I say start small. Start with one practice, one breath, one moment of silence, one word of gratitude. Build from there. Do not underestimate the power of beginning. It is in the beginning that everything becomes possible. You do not need a throne to be sovereign over your life. You do not need a crown to carry dignity. What you need is presence. What you need is the willingness to take ownership of your time and your energy. That is what morning routines give us, the chance to own our day before the world demands anything from us. In time you will look back and realize that your life was not shaped by the big events alone, but by the quiet choices you made each morning. You will see that who you became was forged not in moments of triumph, but in moments of consistency. That is the magic, that is the power, that is the gift we are given every single day. So I invite you, rise with intention, begin your day with purpose. Find your rhythm, your ritual, your reason, and let that become your armor. Let it become your compass. Let it remind you that you are not here to drift. You are here to lead. You are here to love. You are here to live a life that means something, not someday but today.